This is TradeFlow News, bringing you relevant news and insights from around the world. TradeFlow News, enabling trade for SMEs and economies worldwide.
These are some of the key topics that we will be looking into in today's program.
First, let's take a look at the overnight headlines which are impacting the commodity markets. Oil dropped on Wednesday after hitting a multi-year high above $83 a barrel, pressured by an American Petroleum Institute (API) report showing rising crude inventories in the United States and technical indicators suggesting prices have rallied too fast. The latest surge in the price of crude was underpinned by the refusal of the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries and Allies to boost output faster and comes against a backdrop of concern about tight energy supply globally. On Monday, OPEC, Russia and other allies, known as OPEC+, chose to stay with a plan to increase output gradually and not boost it further as the United States and other consumer nations have been urging.
The European Union said on Wednesday it would examine the way its power market is run and consider proposals to revamp regulations within the bloc, as it seeks to keep plans to tackle climate change on track amid record high energy costs. European electricity and gas prices have rocketed this year as tight gas supplies have collided with strong demand in economies recovering from the COVID-19 pandemic. Energy prices topped the EU's political agenda on Wednesday, with environment ministers and the European Parliament each debating the issue after country leaders discussed possible responses on Tuesday evening.
Moving on to the top news in the energy sector.
U.S. crude oil and gasoline inventories rose last week as production rebounded as more offshore oil facilities returned from last month's storm-related shut-ins, the Energy Information Administration said on Wednesday. Crude inventories rose by 2.3 million barrels in the week to October 1 to 420.9 million barrels, compared with analysts' expectations in a Reuters poll for a 418,000-barrel drop. Output was also higher, rising 200,000 barrels per day to 11.3 million barrels of oil per day in the most recent week. That is not far from pandemic-era highs for U.S. crude production, even though weekly figures are considered less reliable than lagging monthly data.
Iraq's oil minister said that oil at $75 to $80 a barrel was a fair price for producers and consumers, adding that his country was seeking to expand its production and export capacity in the coming years. Oil prices traded above $83 a barrel on Wednesday, their highest since October 2018, amid a global energy crunch and a decision by the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries and its allies to stick to a small increase in production next month. Hassan Abdul-Jabbar told the Energy Intelligence Forum that Iraq aims to raise its oil production capacity by some 3 million barrels per day, BPD, to 8 million barrels of oil per day by the end of 2027.
Next, we have the top news in metal markets.
Global demand for nickel is expected to increase to 3.04 million tons in 2022 from 2.77 million tons in 2021, the International Nickel Study Group, INSG, said on Wednesday. Global output of nickel is expected to rise to 3.12 million tons from 2.64 million tons, the Lisbon-based group said, adding the implicit market balance is a deficit of 134,000 tons in 2021, and a surplus of 76,000 tons in 2022.
Copper prices buckled under a stronger dollar on Tuesday ahead of key U.S. payroll data later this week and on lingering concerns over the fate of China Evergrande. The U.S. dollar edged toward a one-year high against major peers, making greenback-priced metals more expensive to holders of other currencies, in anticipation of Friday's non-farm payrolls data, which is expected to give the Federal Reserve ammunition to start unwinding its easy monetary policy soon. Worries over defaults at Chinese property developers and the potential impact on metals demand grew on Tuesday, amid fresh credit rating downgrades and uncertainty about the fate of China Evergrande. We will now look at the top news in the agricultural sector. India's wheat exports in 2021 could quadruple from a year ago to the highest level in 8 years as a rally in global prices and higher freight costs make Indian wheat lucrative for Asian buyers, two industry officials told Reuters. Higher exports would help the world's second biggest producer bring down record inventories and provide Asian buyers with cheaper supplies amid a rally in global prices WC1 due to limited supplies from major exporters such as Russia and Canada. India's wheat exports could rise to 4.2 million tons this year, the highest since 2013, Nitin Gupta, vice president at Olam Agro India, told Reuters. There is good demand for Indian wheat for human consumption and feed purpose as well, Gupta said.
That is all for today's news on commodity markets. Stay tuned to TradeFlow News as we continue to provide you with more updates. We also invite you to follow us on Twitter at TradeFlow News, which allows you to watch our program on your mobile device or desktop to receive information from there.